Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
and LJ. Today and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us.
Hello.
I'm laughing because Timothy's so worried about being in the shot.
Yeah, I was like, am I in the shot? Because the last video I looked at, I had half my face cut off. You would have thought I was doing Phantom or something.
It makes me laugh that you're, we doing video? Oh no, I'm not up for that. And now, like before we start recording, am I in that shot?
Just checking. You'll only do it once to me. Like, you don't understand the amount of time and preparation I put into now coming to record podcasts.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I moisturise and everything. Just to be sure I've got a particular glow.
So whenever you're cut off, you're raging.
Absolutely. I mean, I got my hair cut and my beard trimmed this week for the very occasion.
Did you go to your...
I
was going to say butchers, but that's not what I
hope
meant.
I didn't go to the butcher. No, there's no one butchering me, thank you. Yes, no, I did go to the barber's, yes. A wee skin fade because I'm a millennial and I'm pretending I'm not in my 40s.
You're not in your 40s.
Close to it. Yeah, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I know that was really weird when I said that. I'm good. Like, I didn't know how to say the word.
Good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Just normally, maybe?
Good.
Hello. I'm loving these mics, I have to say. We're crystal clear, aren't we?
Yeah, let's hope that others think we're crystal clear.
Is that one of those real, sorry, anyone who can't see, watch the video. She's sipping out of those mugs. You know those big, massive, oversized
Stanleys?
monstrosity. I wasn't going to mention the name in case we get sued. Is that a real one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I had one which was better, which I thought was better. My daughter stole it on me, so I then had to go and get this. The problem is, and nobody make the mistake, is don't do a 2-hour drive and drink a full bottle of it and then not have a toilet anywhere near you. It's
not good.
No.
Do you not break your arm every time you have to go and lift it up?
No, it's actually really well designed.
Looks like a dumbbell.
Well, I don't need to go to the gym then.
Fair enough. Okay, interesting. How's things going?
Things are going good. I feel like I've been involved in a lot of musical theatre, listening to loads. I think because I'm in the car more, I've got shuffle on my Spotify.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to loads of different musicals, and I just feel like the springtime and everything's just making me want to be at the theatre every single night.
That's so weird though, because like spring is when the evenings are starting to lighten up, aren't they? You want to go into a darkened room. That says an awful lot about your personality. Surely the winter months are when you want to lock yourself away in the theatre. No?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I actually feel better now after being sick for so long. So that
true.
Now I'm like, yes, let's go and do stuff.
5, 6, 7, 8. Dun, dun, dun. Very good. Well, I'm glad you're feeling much better.
What about you?
Yeah, good. Just living on a constant feeling of exhaustion.
You have a lot on.
Oh, we all do, don't we? That's life. How are you, Aaron?
I'm very well, thank you for asking.
Are you planning on reading that that IQ book during this episode?
This book here?
Yeah.
QI book of general ignorance. Rather apt now, Timothy.
Okay, I was...
Just put that to the camera. That's a good start.
I was reading it upside down. Okay.
Tell you what, I'll read it and I'll give you the gist.
Oh, rude. Okay, what do you know about musical theatre? Just saying. Thank you.
Oh, don't you finish that. He was going to be really rude there and say probably more than you.
Don't think so.
No,
somehow. That's why
not.
They pay me the big bucks and you're hitting the buttons. Okay. Shall we move on to this week's episode before I get fired?
Yeah. Do you have any exciting news for us?
Oh yeah, do you want some theatre news?
Always.
Bit raging about this one, to be quite honest with you.
Oh, why?
Yeah. It was announced, it wasn't this week, it was last week actually, that there is going to be a new Mary Poppins UK and Ireland tour.
I know, but they've already cast Bert.
And I mean, not only have they already cast it, but they went as far as casting the people that they cast recently in the most recent Australian cast of Mary Poppins to play Mary Poppins and Bert, Stephanie Jones and Jack Chambers, whoever the hell Jack Chambers is.
He's
I
known
don't
Timothy
know.
Bell.
But I mean, had someone writing their doorstep of Ireland, UK and Ireland tour. No need to I mean, I think probably Jack Chambers is maybe British and they took him over to Australia to do the Australian version, I think. I don't think they're both Australian. I don't really know. I was so annoyed by the
So
news that I
disgusted.
didn't even bother researching who the heck they were. But
Oh.
like, what is this? Do you know what it is?
What?
Ageist.
Oh, okay.
They're going,
We're going
a
there.
30-something is too old to play Bert, and I disagree.
I disagree too.
I'm so annoyed.
Oh, no.
So I won't be going to see it.
You will.
I will,
We
yeah.
will.
It
We will
opens
be
in
there.
November this year at the Bristol Hippodrome, and then it's coming to Dublin on the 11th of December, Edinburgh the 22nd of January, Plymouth the 26th of February, Manchester the 9th of April, and further venues are to be confirmed.
Yeah, love it.
I am currently in discussions
Oh,
with the producers.
are you?
Yeah.
In your dreams?
No. There's definitely a need for an alternate. You know, there's no way he's going to be able to do 8 shows a week. So, watch this space, folks. Just saying. All I'll say is, I've got the tap shoes out of the cupboard and I have dusted them off.
Good. You're just preparing.
And I'm doing my wee ankle rolls in the evenings, you know. 20 to the right, 20 to the left, 20 pointing flexes. You know, rising up onto my toes.
And have you started to do things upside down yet? Just to try and get ready for that section?
Not really, because as you know, I'm not very good with upside down, including reading Aaron's book upside down. But
so maybe that's what you should be working on rather than the wee ankle rolls.
Well, I don't want to break my ankles, so I think I start with the ankles and work my way up. Do you know what I mean? It'll be the hips next and the lower back, and then we'll get to suspending myself upside down.
Okay. Well, can we video that? Because I think that would be really...
Of course. Why are you laughing?
Oh my goodness.
People out there haven't seen a bird until they've seen my bird.
They said I haven't seen a bird. I haven't seen a bird.
But
you've never done a bird.
Thanks for rubbing that in, Lauren.
Okay.
Jeez, you know who your friends are, don't you?
I really am starting to worry that, you know, you need to be brought down to earth. You've been holding that Mary Poppins.
Oh, I'm very much on the earth. I haven't been wired up yet to go dancing upside down. That'll come tech rehearsals. That's a bit early for that. I have well and surely got my 2 feet on
Imagine.
But you know what? I kind of feel like you're not taking this seriously. This opportunity that could be coming my way. So let's move on really quickly to this week's musical. I'm a bit concerned.
Why are you concerned?
Because there's a lot of words that could be mispronounced this week, and I did a total Lauren last week, and I'm a wee bit living on my nerves this week because there's a lot of them.
There are a lot.
Yeah, are you concerned too?
I am concerned.
This could be an absolute disaster.
It could. And I don't have very much written down.
Oh, somebody hasn't done her research this week.
And I need to explain. So
Aaron, where's that notebook? I hope you're jotting that down. Just saying. I have several pages of notes.
You have.
I also have done it again. I skipped 2 pages by accident. It kills my happiness. So just, you know, throughout the episode, if you hear me let out a scream or a roar out of context, it's because I've got to the page that I missed out by accident.
Yeah, if you could see our notebooks, mine is all over the place, left, right and centre, because that's how my brain works, and Timothy's is very neat, and there's a section, and I just have, that's probably why I can't even read my
God, I've got headings and everything.
I know, I don't, I just have like...
I mean, you probably wouldn't realise that I am so prepared, but I really am. It just doesn't sometimes come across. Yeah.
Okay, right.
I just get excited and carried away.
Well, this week we were discussing the Powerhouse Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, Evita.
Yes, we were. Yes, we were. Why are we talking like we've done it in the past? You said this week we were discussing. I didn't. You did.
Right, this week we will be discussing. Okay.
Hope you're taking this down now. Yes, how do you describe it? The Powerhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
It is. Now, disclaimer before we start.
You can't say the words.
No, I can't say the words. I do not like this musical. This musical, remember I've spoke about in previous episodes, there are a number of musicals which make me feel uneasy. This is one of them.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
folks, you're
said-
in for a treat because anytime we have like different opinions on a musical, it's always a scorcher of a episode.
So I'm not going to list all the different musicals which make me feel uneasy because I feel like it's a nice little
Surprise
every time
clearly,
we-
because I am absolutely knocked off my chair here.
So I started doing my research for Evita, and if anybody has watched Friends, they will understand this reference. I felt like I needed to put my book in the freezer. So it makes me feel really uneasy. I don't like the story. I don't particularly like death. I don't like when people die young. I just don't like it. And the music in this freaks me out. It really upsets me, this musical.
You're absolutely insane.
I know, but there's some songs which are my favourite songs which come from this musical.
The music absolutely freaks me out, but it has some of my favourite musical theatre songs. Folks, welcome to the podcast. You need to do one on your own. Like, you need to do a podcast, like, on the side.
She needs to do a podcast with her psychiatrist. I don't like death. I don't like when people die young. That's unusual. Everyone else does.
Wow.
No,
So
I know.
when you described this as a powerhouse of a musical, that was somebody else's words then?
No. I appreciate like the music. I appreciate the story and what Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber did together. But I could not watch this musical. Like, I have watched this musical.
Yeah.
I've seen the performance of it. I've seen the movie.
I could not watch this, but I have watched it.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm contradicting myself. I could not watch this musical and then go to bed. I would have to go and do something really fun or watch some sort of Disney movie afterwards. Even if
Well, that's
I listen...
when you put your wedding dress on, stand at the top of the stairs and do your rendition of Don't Cry For Me, Argentina.
No,
That's what I do.
This is why I don't watch scary movies either, because it gives me the same feeling. I need to feel warm, happy and fuzzy.
Okay.
I don't leave the theatre feeling warm, fuzzy.
Fair, like this musical definitely takes you on a journey, and it's not like all puppy dogs and roses.
No, and also Eva Peron was not a very nice woman.
Yeah, it's so, but like it's so. That's why I kind of go, oh, it's so well written, because personally, at times you're like really rooting for her, and then other times you're like, you are an absolutely terrible person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like for me, there's like, it's like maybe not half and half, but there's an endearing quality to her within the show at times. That then when she is dying at the end, you're a bit like, oh, that's really sad.
Well,
Spoiler
yeah, I
alert.
think you would be psychotic if whenever somebody was dying, you're like, oh, good riddance.
Well, sometimes if they're a really hateful person, you're like, fair dues, see you later. Bye.
Really, even then?
Well, no.
No, I mean...
Does that make me a terrible person? I don't wish death on it. Oh God, we're going deep here, folks. I don't wish death on anybody, but like sometimes I maybe wouldn't have as strong a feeling to it happening.
Like
if
when a
they're-
baddie dies in a Bond movie. You're like,
Yeah, see
they
you later.
got what they deserved.
Yeah. And some, can you watch Bond movies then? Because some of those are a wee bit, like the death scenes can be quite
I've
interesting.
probably watched 2 Bond movies in my entire life.
Interesting. Well, clearly you're not committed to the cause because you've got a page of notes and you put your book into the freezer.
I know.
So, anyway, well, do you know what? I'll do the background this week then because I don't want you to shortchange it. So Evita is a musical by music by Andrew Lloyd Webber and lyrics by Tim Rice, and it concentrates on the life of Argentine political leader Eva Peron, the second wife of the Argentinian president Juan Peron. You see, I would have gone Joan.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Juan Peron. The story follows Evita's early life, rise to power, charity work, and then, as we've just mentioned, her untimely death. One of history's most controversial women.
Yes. And which I didn't know about until properly researching.
Yeah, Evita proved to be the final major collaboration between Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice, having already collabed with each other on Joseph and Jesus Christ Superstar. It was actually the young lyricist Tim Wright.
Tim Wright or Tim Rice?
Tim Rice that came up with the idea of doing a musical based on Evita.
Yeah, and this is the part that I didn't know. I didn't realise that this is actually a Tim Rice musical with Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah.
Rather than an Andrew Lloyd Webber with Tim Rice.
Exactly.
So it was...
And how often does that happen?
Not very often. So he was in the car and he heard a radio programme
That's right.
that was going to be talking about influential women.
This was in 1973, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, he was...
Well, he travelled to Argentina.
He was so taken by Eva Peron that he actually even named his daughter Eva.
Oh wow, that's a bit much, Tim. My goodness.
I know.
Yeah, well, he after hearing the car radio program, he did travel to Argentina in 1974 to carry out research, and he had a bit of a flash of inspiration when he was there, because he realized that Che, here's the next one, is it Guevara?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the famous revolutionary, was also Argentinian.
Right, okay.
And a contemporary to the Perons. So Rice then had this idea to have Che making the perfect narrator for the story of Evita.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, quote unquote, that way I could get two icons for the price of one.
Interesting.
Yeah. So then Tim Rice is composer collaborator Andrew Lloyd Webber, never heard of him. He agreed to take on the project. Now, the success of Jesus Christ Superstar that they had both had was partly due to releasing like a concept album prior to the opening of the show. And that spiked the interest and also generated a bit of expectation.
And how interesting is that now? So that's a concept album for Evita, or for Jesus Christ Superstar that you're talking about.
Yeah.
We're sort of thinking of the same idea for Evita.
Well, that's right.
We mentioned it that for Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Also Hadestown.
Hadestown.
Chorus line.
A chorus line, What I Did for Love.
Like,
yeah.
How intriguing that this actually is a bit of a thing.
But it doesn't happen now, isn't it? Weird.
No, I know Hadestown is a more modern musical.
But even at that, like, no new modern musicals have had that idea, and a few of them could have used it, to be honest.
Yeah.
However, maybe is it that the music industry, the charts, they work completely different now?
I would say that's going to have a huge part to it. So obviously the charts, whenever we were growing up, were still a big thing, but they probably weren't as big as they were in the 70s and the 80s with Top of the Pops and people buying the records and really changing who was going to be number one.
Do you remember Top of the Pops?
No. Because it was, you would have had the odd time where there was a musical theatre song in the charts, and what I'm trying to think of is maybe Whistle Down the Wind or...
Well, that's the last time I remember it happening.
Yeah, something like that. I'm trying to think.
Boyzone,
maybe more
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Boyzone, but maybe more like Disney songs have made the top 40.
Yeah.
But music and people's opinions were harder to find before social media.
Yeah.
So now that we have that world, then a concept album maybe isn't a way to introduce a new musical. I just think it's really interesting.
No matter what they call us. Wasn't that Boyzone?
That was
out
Boyzone.
of
yeah.
What's that show called?
Whistle Down the Wind.
Yeah. There was quite a few of he did that a lot for a lot of the tracks in Whistle Down the Wind, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bonnie Tyler did
I know that's
Tired tricks and broken hearts.
Yes, that's right.
Anyway, yeah, so that's exactly what they did. So Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice decided to repeat that formula with Evita. A double concept album appeared in November 1976 with the release a month later of the single Don't Cry For Me, Argentina by British performer Julia Covington.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I I didn't know that.
Not the name you thought I was going to say.
Absolutely not, no.
And you know what? The single reached number 1 in the UK charts in February 1977 and sold
Wow.
more than 1 million copies, much to the surprise of Tim Rice. And he, one from a quote today, quote unquote, he said, "Who wants to buy a song about a country you've never really heard of?"
Isn't it funny how sometimes just one song can really take off and people just like go crazy over it?
Yeah.
Because
That's
that Don't Cry For Me Argentina, I would say if you stopped 100 people in the street, it would surprise you the number of people that have heard of it who probably are not musical theatre fans.
Yeah, but because there's still going to be a lot of them about that were about when it ended up in the charts.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that then helped attract lots of other people to the project. Do you know what I mean? American director Hal Prince, he was responsible for a number of Broadway hits, including Cabaret and A Little Night Music. He was brought on board as the director, and the lead role went to an actress and singer that we've never heard of before. Our very own EP. See, he's not even listening, he's reading that bloody book. It's okay, you carry on there. Hope you're learning an awful lot about your IQ, QI. So she was brought on board to play the title role of Evita, and the role of Shay, the casting went to pop star David Essex.
Yes.
This is the spanner in the works for me.
Why?
He was bloody awful.
Okay.
Now, obviously I never saw him live, but I certainly heard him on the album, and not okay. Yeah.
So do you think that was a huge
opinion,
part of stunt casting? Do you think that was stunt casting before stunt casting was a thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, why
they
else?
Did that.
Maybe he was just good.
Andrew Lloyd Webber liked to do that a lot, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kind of bring. Anyway.
Don't know. Evita was said to have been like one of the first musicals to use a recent political figure.
Yeah. So I wanted to discuss
as its subject.
How crazy. So Evita. It's set between 1934 and 1952. So it was 73 whenever he heard this program.
Yeah.
Like that's only 20 years. Like that's not a huge amount of time. So the only thing I can really think of now, which would be historical, would be that other blooming terrible musical, Diana.
No, it is terrible. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, but I mean, how like that is odd that the Six is obviously years and years and years ago historically.
Yeah.
And so is Hamilton and Bonnie and Clyde. Okay, it was the 30s, but it just seems like it's too close.
Yeah, and Andrew Lloyd Webber does like to do that, like take a political figure, because he tried this Stephen Ward musical as well, didn't he, based on Stephen Ward, whoever the heck he was, but nobody really knows about that musical because it absolutely bombed.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he was a political figure as well, like a British political figure, and was involved in some scandal.
I don't know that musical.
He liked his women. I know that.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he was like a British politician.
Oh.
And was involved in some. Is it water something?
Yes, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Look at me and my history lessons. Not.
Go you. But I think it took Andrew Lloyd Webber a while.
No, it wasn't. It was like perfume scandal. Look that up there, EP.
It took Andrew Lloyd Webber a while to come on board because he thought his musical by Jeeves was going to be the big success story, and whenever it didn't take off, then he decided to come and do Evita.
Oh, Evita was going to be second best.
It was, yeah. And he said, if we're looking at quotes, Andrew Lloyd Webber said,
quote.
When he was talking about Eva Peron, he said, the manipulation of people by a very attractive but very evil woman. Evita was the most unpleasant character he'd ever written about.
Yeah, I've got that one too. And he was brave enough to put it into a programme note.
I know. But I think what shocks me more is because there was probably still people around who knew Eva, who were involved in all of that, and then he's saying this. I think it's a very brave choice.
Yeah, I think it was a brave choice to do this musical. It used a variety of musical styles, from the seductive, calculating rhythms of tango to rock and roll, and almost operatic stylings at time to evoke a complex Argentina and its anti-heroine.
Yeah.
So yeah, Evita was often described simply as an opera, like Jesus Christ Superstar was a rock opera. But unlike most other musicals of its time, Evita was one of those sung through
Yes.
musicals with no linking dialogue, each song illuminating a particular scene and driving forward the story. So that's a kind of, there's a lot of them out there now, but of its time, it was kind of stood on its own with very few friends, for that kind of style. It opened in the Prince Edward Theatre on the 21st of June 1987, closing on the 8th of February 1986, my birth year, after 3,176 performances. Ran for 8 years. This production won an Olivier Award for Best New Musical, and EP won, Elaine Page, not our EP, won for Best Performance in a Musical. It also received nominations for Harold Prince as director, and David Essex for Best Performance. No, I understand why he didn't win. And it was a huge hit with the audiences. It then opened in the Broadway Theatre on the 25th of September.
That's
Wonder
an
what's special
date.
about that date. 1979 though, and closed on the 26th of June 1983 after 1,567 performances. Patti LuPone originated the part of Evita in Broadway, and Mandy Patinkin was Shay. Now, I love a Patti.
Oh, you do?
Patti once stated, wait and hear this for a quote. I'm going to put my best Patti on here. Evita was my worst experience of my life. I was screaming my way through a part that could only have been written by a man who hates women. And I had no support from the producers, who wanted a star performance on stage and treated me as an unknown backstage. Now, that wouldn't have gone down well with Patti. So you can tell,
it's like she was in the room with us.
Wasn't it good? Here's to the ladies who lunch. Everybody laugh. That's my favourite Patti song. That's from Company, not from Evita, though.
I know it is, yeah. So
but
she
did
1,567 performances.
Good for her.
I know, which is a lot.
She's kind of stepped away from Broadway now.
She has. She doesn't have a great word to say about Broadway or ALW in particular.
Oh, she cannot stand him, and she's not behind the door in letting everybody know about it. But that's why I like her. She doesn't take no nonsense. Yeah. Elaine Page was originally told that she would recreate her role in the Broadway production. However, the Actors Equity Association refused permission for a non-American to play it.
I know. Very strange sometimes, Equity's rulings on who can play what and where.
But I think back in the day, like that was so long ago, I think it was very strict. There was no crossover. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so you were a Broadway
American
star.
Productions had American actors. Yeah. British productions had British actors. There was none of this back and forward. Now, it's much more relaxed now.
It is.
You see it working both ways. You almost see often like a British production, which then transfers to Broadway. A lot of the original, certainly front lineup of casts go with it.
Well, let's look at another ALW show, Sunset Boulevard, which has just finished. Yeah. Its run in the Savoy, and the two leads. Okay, yes, one is American. Well, no, actually, she's not even American.
I don't think. No, what is Nicole Scher saying?
Hawaiian.
I don't know.
Polynesian.
I'll happily look her up.
Happily,
It's good. Put that book down.
The two of them have gone over to Broadway.
Is it just the front two?
I'm pretty sure it's just
the Max not going as well?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, no. So I think that is a lot more a done thing now. Whereas I think back in the day, it probably I think they were really pushing.
They were strict.
Yeah, they were pushing to see how far they could pass Elaine Page to get into Broadway. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it was a done thing, and the Equity stood their ground and were like, nope.
Okay.
But I'm glad in a way. Like, sad for EP, but let's be honest, she's had plenty of hits in her career. She didn't miss out hugely
No.
there.
Did
It
you
was
have
nice
a
for Paddy to
confirmation?
do it.
Sorry, EP, did you have a confirmation?
Yes, born in Hawaii, Honolulu.
There you go.
No.
The Broadway production was nominated for 10 Tonys, winning 7, including Best Musical Score, Director for Harold Prince, and Tony for both Paddy LuPone and Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah.
Evita came 6th in BBC Radio 2's listeners poll of UK's #1 essential musicals. So you might not like it, but it's right up there, Lauren.
But like I said, I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just personally don't like it.
Now, what I don't appreciate is the
David Essex.
1996 film
Okay, so you're
adaptation
not
of
a
it.
fan of it?
Oh God, it's terrible. Madonna,
Who?
she gave it her best go, but no.
But that wasn't we'll just cast Madonna. Madonna asked to be cast as Eva Peron.
Of course she did. It's Madonna. Am I going to get sued?
No.
She had a like a real, not a fascination, well maybe a fascination with Eva, and always wanted to, and I think she knew she was never going to be a performer on Broadway or West End, so whenever she heard of the film, she thought this was her way of playing Evita. So she wrote to the directors and producers and everybody,
Yeah.
and then eventually I think they got a letter from Madonna. They're not really going to say no.
She also knew films pay better. Let's not beat around the bush here. It's Madonna we're talking about.
Okay.
I mean, she looked perfect.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
that performance. Oh.
Do you think it was too hammy?
Oh my goodness, yeah, not good, not okay.
Yeah, okay.
Antonio Banderas, he was decent.
Yeah, I
Yeah, he was decent.
don't have an issue with him.
And I mean, it did have the wonderful Jonathan Pryce
Yes.
as Juan Perón, and he's great in everything he does, to be
Yes.
honest. But yeah, Madonna just, if it's Evita has to be really good.
Yeah. Okay. Fair
Anyway,
enough.
sorry, that background was probably a bit longer than you expected it to be, but
It's
you know,
fine. You've done your research.
I
so.
did, yeah. This will be quick though. The musical lyrical lingoes, because Lauren doesn't have any.
Oh, no, that's not true. I do. I do.
Go on then.
Right. So the first thing I learnt was Requiem aeternam dona Evita.
Well done. I'm so glad you said that, because I have that too. But I was like not looking forward to having to say that.
And that means give Evita eternal rest. So they almost chant that, don't they?
Yeah, so I think, in my opinion, the opening of Evita is probably one of the best openings of any musical I've seen.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah.
It's like, wow. So it starts off in like Argentinian cinema,
Mm-hmm.
and they're watching a film, obviously, and it stops and it announces I would like to inform the people of Argentina that Eva Perón, spiritual leader of the nation, entered immortality at 20:25 hours today.
Yeah.
And then it goes into that Requiem Evita, where you've basically got like the public, what's that called when they put out the coffin and you can come and
Mourning.
Yeah, public mourning, and it's just, and they sing this Requiem Evita, like unbelievable. Like it's really, I went to say it's really cool, but it's really impactful.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's like, whoa.
Yeah, and I think as well that captures what way Eva Peron had captured the nation at the time. Like she really had created this massive cult following for herself and her husband.
Well, that's right.
And
Yeah.
that is how she was almost the leader rather than
Mhm.
Juan.
And actually, Eva had been awarded that title of spiritual leader of the nation by the Argentine Congress shortly before she died. So it wasn't just, a lyric thing. Like, it was a title that was bestowed upon her. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that gave Evita eternal rest.
Mm-hmm. And then rest to Evita.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, then I just learned more about Eva Peron.
Yeah.
I think that was mainly what I took away from that musical the first time I was introduced to it. I know that she died aged 33, but I don't realise, I suppose it's only when you're on the other side of it, you realise how young 33 is.
100%.
And that she was poor, she was illegitimate. she was ambitious.
Yeah.
And how the song, once you understand it, shows how she worked her way to the top.
Yeah.
Slept her way to the top.
Yeah.
You know. But I didn't get that probably maybe one of the first times that I listened to it or watched it. So I think it just showed I'm going to keep coming back to that powerhouse, that ambition that she had, and how she was determined to make something of her life.
Ruthlessness, yeah. And I think that's a fair point you just made there. There is so much in the lyrics and in the songs of this show that to listen to it, you almost do need to see it on stage to then piece that story of Eva Perón's, or what was her name? Eva Duarte.
That's right. Yeah,
that was her name before she then married Juan Perón. But you kind of need to see that to then start tying her life together. Oh, What a Circus, that very quickly follows Requiem Evita at the beginning of the show. It kind of helps to set that story up right from the beginning. And you know, I've said before, that character of Shay acts as a narrator, and often he sings directly to the audience through the whole way through the show. He sings about the best show in town was the crowd outside the Casa Rosada crying Eva Perón, and that Casa Rosada, literally meaning pink house, is the seat of government in Argentina, and it's located in Buenos Aires.
Yeah, and that's what I learned as well. I didn't realise. So obviously I know from Casa, from Spanish, does mean house.
Oh, you're very good. I've never studied
well,
Spanish
neither have I,
before.
But there's a few words that Casa does always come up in. So I knew that was house, but then I suppose the Rosadas must mean pinkish as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Must,
yeah.
Just kind of thinking rose, like, you know, arrows. Yeah.
There was a lot in that I found, and throughout it, then there was like almost this Argentinian chorus that kept coming in.
Yes. Yeah.
Here we go. Bolt down the hatches here as I give this a go. Salve Regina, Mater Misericordiae.
Yeah, I think you did really well there. Well done.
Thank you. I've practiced it all week. Salve Regina is a Catholic devotional hymn in Latin to the Virgin Mary. And the Latin translation is, Hail, O Queen, Mother of Mercy, our life, sweetness and hope. Hail, hail, O Queen. To you we cry, exiled sons of Eve. To you we sigh, groaning and weeping. O merciful, O reverent one. So there you go. Shay sings, show business kept us alive since 17th October 1945.
Yeah, I love that line.
Yeah, and on the 17th, on that date, the 17th of October, a huge demonstration of workers in the Plaza de Mayo in Buenos Aires came together in support and to demand the release of Colonel Juan Perón, who had recently been arrested by generals in charge of government.
Yeah. I think that the history is very messy.
It's very messy. He was very messy.
Yes.
The situation was very messy. The country at that time was very messy because of all of it.
Yeah.
At the end of that song, Oh What a Circus, he sings, it's a funeral too. And as I've just said, in this period, Argentina was in a fragile, delicate state, economically and politically. Peronism.
Okay.
It's always serious when there's an ism put on the end of your name, isn't there? Had made the country grow up. Now he helped the workers. He kind of used the poor and the workers as his get in.
Yes.
Yeah, as his to build his army of supporters. But as referenced later in the musical, Peronism also led to the once rich Argentina becoming bankrupt.
Yeah. I know.
So only 3 years after Evita's death, the Argentine military bombed Buenos Aires, and Perón was ousted after a military coup, ending his 7 years in power.
I know.
Messy.
Yeah, it was all very messy, and it's just that using the poor or people with less was similar to another political leader that, you know, terrible things happened. So it wasn't something new that he was doing, but just necessarily in that time and that country,
Yeah.
they felt like he was a savior, but it was more like Eva knew that
Yeah.
that's how they would get their votes.
I mean, we've talked about this before on the podcast, you know, using and it is the premise of our podcast, I suppose. Like using musicals to teach a bit of history. You've got your Six and stuff like that. I do think Evita is a brilliant musical to teach, you know, children of, you know, political turmoil
Yeah.
or, you know, I think it's well written.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It does the job. I've mentioned it a couple of times, Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
Somewhere I've never been, but I would like to visit at some point.
Do you not think it's because of that song?
What's new? Buenos Aires.
That it usually it's a really big dance number, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fab.
And really vibrant
Mhm.
and lots going on, and there's like a hustle and bustle. So it kind of makes you feel like, oh, that would be a really cool city to experience.
We might be hugely disappointed.
But I'm not too sure that is. I think that is a real musical thing. Like it's been put on a pedestal.
Fair
a
enough.
bit like, I feel if I go to Santa Fe, I'm going to be disappointed.
You've said this before, yeah,
because it's mentioned in so many musicals.
Yeah, numerous musicals.
But I feel if I go to Santa Fe, I'm going to be like, what? I'm
Surely
expecting
not.
like Garden of Eden type thing whenever I go to Santa Fe, but
surely Santa Fe wouldn't be a disappointment. It's
but I feel
name
like
checked so much.
maybe Buenos Aires may.
There's quite a bit in Buenos Aires.
Mhm.
One of the lyrics says, "Beautiful town, I love you. And if I need a moment's rest," I cracked there. Oh God, don't you hate it when you crack? Give your lover the very best. Real eider down.
Yeah,
and
what is
silence. So, the tunnels I went down on researching this.
Did you use a proper dictionary, not Urban Dictionary this
no
time?
Urban Dictionary this time. Basically, it's talking about feathers, like eider feathers.
Okay.
Like I think it's a duck, as such. So made from the down, which is feathers.
Feathers, yeah.
I didn't know that. I was like, why does it keep talking about down? What on earth's a down? Do you know what I mean? Honestly, you should see me. So made from the down of the female eider duck, considered to be the softest and the most luxurious.
Oh.
Here's the duck back. Yes, he did leave the room. We were boring him that much. She also then references Rio de la Plata, Florida, Corrientes, Nieve de Julio.
Well done.
I think I made some of them up.
That's
to be
okay.
honest. But Rio de la Plata is an area of water that forms a major port in Buenos Aires.
Okay.
Florida, or Florida Street,
Uh-huh.
is a street in Buenos Aires famous for its expensive shops. Is this all forming a picture of what
Buenos Aires.
Eva Perón wants?
Yes.
Oh no. Evita Corrientes. Oh, I totally made that. I've totally butchered that one, boys and girls. Is a street that represents the arts and has many of the large theatres and cinemas.
Okay.
And then Nove de Julio Avenue is named for Argentina's Independence Day.
Oh, I think I did read that, yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
fun fact, probably the best fact of this whole podcast, certainly coming from me, it's the largest avenue in the world with 12 lanes of traffic. If I could drop this mic and it wouldn't break, I'd be doing a mic drop right now.
Mic drop.
Because that's kind of a cool fact,
12
isn't it?
lanes of traffic,
Who would have thought Argentina had the biggest avenue in the world? It might not anymore. I might have completely
maybe
shot
then.
myself in the foot. But there you go. And that's Buenos Aires for you. I do think I'd still like to go. And I would sing. I would be Eva Duarte. What's new? Buenos Aires.
And do you dance?
Like dancing between the 12 lanes of traffic. Just oh, what is it? How she finish it? Star quality. That's how she finishes it. Something like that.
Lovely. You did well there.
Was he criticising our mic?
Yeah, me. I'm probably too loud. On this night of 1,000 stars, I mentioned
night of 1,000 stars.
this is a little bit of where she's sleeping to the top.
It's the first one she sleeps with in the show, isn't it? One of many.
Augustin Magaldi.
Yeah.
And he was a singer, like a Latin singer. So I just didn't know anything about him.
So he was actually a real
like,
person?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't think to even look that up.
No, he was a real
And
singer.
she had her way with him.
She did. Used him and abused him.
He was her way of getting out of where she was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Because she was quite young, wasn't she? She was a teenager at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, talking about her numerous flings, there is, I love it, one of the songs in the show is called Perron's Latest Flame.
Yeah.
Because he was also known for enjoying his mistresses. And Shay sings the shooting sticks of the upper class. Do you know what a shooting stick is?
No.
This blew my mind. So a shooting stick is, you know, those portable foldy up chairs, but also act as like a walking stick.
Yes.
You would definitely have seen them, yeah?
Yeah.
That's called a shooting stick.
No way.
Yeah, typically taken on hunting trips, hence the name.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a wee bit disappointed.
Why?
Because in any production I've ever seen of that, I have not yet seen shooting sticks being used. You've got the aristocracy, the aristocracy, aristocrats.
No,
there we go. The aristocrats.
No, you keep saying it wrong, so I can't say it.
Aristocracy. You say, do you know what I am turning into you? Would you see what you've done to me?
We have swapped roles.
We have swapped roles this season for some rare reason. Are you just shying away from these words? Is that what it is? So I'm taking one for the team then, am I? Okay, fair enough. I'll take it. They're in this and they're kind of giving off about him and his flings and the girls that he has, right? But not one. I've seen, canes and walking sticks.
But not a shooting star?
Haven't seen a shooting stick. Not one near.
Well, they need to do
disappointing,
better research.
Isn't it? Yeah. They sing, no, we wouldn't mind seeing her at Harrods, but behind the jewellery counter, not in front. Thought that was a great put down, right?
Isn't it? How rude.
But I thought it was interesting that Harrods was name checked.
Why?
So, but just because we know Harrods to be an upper class English department store, I didn't expect it to be in Argentina, but there was a branch of Harrods in Buenos Aires. The branch closed in 1988 after a long conflict with the owner.
He's got to the page, boys and
girls. My
missing
page, sorry. The owner, Mohammed Al Fayed. And also the debt of the of the Harrods department store in
Britain?
No, in Argentina.
Oh, right.
The owner, the people who had it. Yeah.
Okay.
Like a franchisee? Was it done as a franchise?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I get you. I understand why.
Should you wish to cause great distress in the tidiest officer's mess is another lyric.
Yeah.
In that, do you know what an officer's mess is?
No, I just thought like what he left behind
was a mess.
Yeah, as in
I agree. That's what I thought it was too.
Because he slept around so much that it was like
it was a mess.
Per woman, maybe you were like pregnant or all of that. That's what I took from that line.
Yep.
But what is an officer's mess?
A mess is a designated area where military personnel socialise, eat and live.
Oh.
I know. I didn't know that. Aaron's shaking his head and
I know, it's another one of those.
Hand in his head. I said hand in his head, nearly said it right until it plural.
Further proves my point.
All right, whatever. Yeah, I didn't know that either. So that's it.
Clever
that's
writing,
officer's
clever
mess.
writing.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Good night and thank you.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
They call her a bitch. Dangerous Jade at the end of the number. Do you know what that Jade was slang for prostitute?
I did know that.
I didn't know that.
I only knew that because whenever we were coming to name our child, children,
God, no.
And people were like, well, you can't call Jade. Like, Jade's not a name because it's slang for prostitute. And I don't know if many people know that you're named Jade. So if you're named Jade, I'm so sorry. I know.
Right, okay. That's really interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I know a few Jades.
I know. But it's slang for prostitute. So imagine going to like another country where that's very famously a prostitute slang word.
I've also heard stories of people not wanting to call certain names because they were the names of the prostitutes that would have hung around the Albert Clock in Belfast. I'm like, oh right, okay. Didn't really know how to continue with that conversation, so I moved it on really quickly. I was like, we're not going to go down that route. Anyway, sorry, what was your next musical lyrical lingo?
Good night and thank you. Sac carbolic is mentioned.
Yeah.
But I couldn't understand what that was. I was hoping that maybe you had.
I didn't pick up on it, no. I will now go away and look at it,
well,
and let
whenever
you know.
I looked it up, Sac carbolic is actually it's a band now.
Oh,
so, but that's all I could find.
I think EP, not Elaine Page. Might I just
have you
find something else?
Oh no, it's just something. Jade was first used to describe a broken down horse in Middle English.
Oh.
So
it really isn't a great name.
So if you were referring to a prostitute as a Jade, it would be a worn out prostitute.
Oh no, even worse.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Not a fresh one.
No. Not a fresh one.
Shall we move on really quickly to Rainbow High?
Yeah, go for it. Love it.
So Rainbow High is kind of so Eva is now with Juan Perón, and it's like she's wanting to re-image herself. Do you know what I mean? And she's taking
re-image herself, reimagine.
Okay, but like her image,
rebrand.
Rebrand herself. Okay, yeah, like make her the star that she wants to be.
Yes,
you know
rather than an illegitimate sleeping her way to the top.
Jaded.
Yes.
Nothing personal.
But she was fresh. Ish. By the time she got to Perón. Oh lordy days, this is awful. So she sings about quite a few different people. She sings Machiavelli, making Argentine rose. So Machiavelli.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
No.
And I thought this was all about designers and stuff. So when I first heard this, I was like, oh, because she sings about Dior.
Yes.
So I just thought, oh, Machiavelli must be another fashion designer, because I obviously am not into my fashion. I wouldn't know, but it's actually Niccolo Machiavelli, who was an Italian diplomat.
Well done.
What have I done?
Machiavelli.
What did I say?
Marchio, it's Machiavelli, as in Machiavellian. He's the author of the Prince, isn't it? About Cesare Borgia.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, he's an author, a philosopher, historian. He is the father, apparently, of the modern political theory. As Aaron has just said, he was the author of The Prince, a book about how one can obtain political power.
Yeah, apparently they used Cesare Borgia that's who he used as his muse for that. Who was the illegitimate child of Pope Alexander VI.
Oh my god! Do you know when you feel your IQ just going?
I told you.
I know Aaron does that to me.
My smartness is going down, like gushing out of my sitting opposite Aaron.
It was just one of those random things.
You're so clever, though.
He is. It's ridiculous.
No, it's
That's
not.
why you read books like that and I can't read. She sings, "On my desk, commissaro." Oh, I had it. "On my desk, commissados expect me to outshine the enemy. The aristocracy, I want to disappoint them." You see, I'm much better at playing Evita.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
So Des Commissados
Yes.
were Perón's main demographics and supporters, the poor, working class.
Yes, the poor, yeah.
And the word literally means shirtless ones.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that.
From your research, or just you knew it?
No, I think I knew from my research, but I think it's looking at one of those words, it's almost like desperados. I just knew that it meant
That's
That's
just
2
been
episodes you've mentioned Desperado.
I know, isn't it? So weird.
Okay, clearly I'm the only thick one in the room.
No, you're not. Definitely not.
I'm their savior. That's what they call me. So Lauren, but call me.
I was going to sing that bit.
Yeah, go.
So Lauren, but call me. Which is who I'm named after.
Who did it better, folks? There's a
You.
poll. That's a poll for socials.
I know. But that's who I'm named after. Lauren Bacall.
Are you?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
You're lying.
I'm not lying. Whenever I forced my mum to tell me, well, who am I named after? She was like, okay, Lauren Bacall.
Oh, here,
She just picked her
Lauren.
name.
She probably did. Just pick the name just to shut me up. But that's what I go around and tell people.
Chicken wow wow. Because Lauren Bacall was an American film actress during the 1940s who was known for her sex appeal.
That's why it's
So
me.
So your mum named you after an actress who was known for her sex appeal?
Was it your daughter Jade?
I think we're going to have to pause the episode. I need time to recover from that one. Did you have any from Rainbow High or Rainbow Tour?
No.
Can I do my Rainbow Tour the ones
Go
then?
for it,
Just
yeah.
because we're doing it in order, or have you got
No,
one
go
before
for it
that?
because I think I've just got one more.
Okay.
So
Rainbow Tour is where Eva Peron then went on a tour, world tour.
Yes.
Basically visiting different countries, and as the tour continues, the popularity decreases, and she meets many a leader from various different countries who do not like her.
Yes.
And she's like, "What? They do not like me?"
She felt like this was going to increase her stardom. Oh, sorry, my mic. This was going to increase her stardom, but it actually ended up having a worse impact in their reign. Is that right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it was like because I think maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't there at the time.
Oh.
But I think at the beginning they did like her.
Yes.
Like they were like, "Oh my goodness!" Like
she was a bit of hope.
Yeah, and then I think she got carried away, didn't she? And their ideals, I think, maybe changed, and how they both carried themselves, her and her husband. Then it tipped, didn't it?
And I think they graced
popularity.
the palms of the wrong people, and they were the ones that helped them rise to power. So then they had to continue. You know, I've read a lot where their charity work wasn't actually charity work; it was a lot of affront.
Yeah.
You know, so they probably weren't doing everything above board.
Yeah, true. Shay sings about they equate Peron to Mussolini. Did I say that right? Can't think why. And Benito.
Yeah.
Benito Mussolini was an Italian politician who established a dictatorship following the March of Rome in October 1922.
Well done.
Thank you. Peron admired him, Mussolini.
Wow.
And the two men kind of shared the same similarities. They both had a secret police force.
Yes.
And were known for their intimidation, organised violence, and wrongful imprisonment of citizens. Having rid themselves of Mussolini in 1943, Eva visited in 1947. It would make sense for a country to dislike the Perons. That reminded them, and also the fact that they idolized a dictator whom they had overthrown 4 years prior, and was executed 2 years prior to Eva's tour.
Yeah, so I remember this was one of the times where musicals helped me in class
because amazing.
I did, not very successfully, but I did just GCSE and A-level history.
Statement.
Well, it was okay at GCSE history, but
we're not here to shame. We're not here to shame.
And there we did learn about Mussolini and Hitler, and it was all 20th century history, and they mentioned Peron, and I was like, I wonder, is that like Eva Peron? Not realizing it was. I was like, I was able. So because of the musical, then I was able to felt like I had a bit of a connection or an understanding of who that was.
Is that when you got up onto the table and started singing your best?
I did.
Eva.
I did.
It's Mussolini.
Oh wow! So Aaron's just put up some very brutal pictures of some of Mussolini's doings. That's
Oh,
awful.
no, that was Mussolini.
No, that was Mussolini himself.
Oh, what, that was him
That was his
himself?
execution.
Oh,
yeah,
upside down?
Yeah, but
Holy
good.
moly. Right,
Just
okay.
played him. Yeah, just definitely.
There you go.
Excellent.
Did you have anything else there?
Things aren't all that bad. She met with the Pope. She got a papal? Is that papal? Papal decoration and a kindly word. So the Pope was nice to her.
Yeah.
And that papal decoration, she was given a silver rosary beads with mother of pearl.
Oh, very fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Very fancy.
Yeah.
Well, my last one then is I learned about Attila Hun.
Attila the Hun.
Yeah. So I didn't know who that was, and he was the ruler of Huns from 434. Then I was like, who were the Huns? So the Huns were nomadic people, but they did raids in the Roman Empire. Because sometimes Huns would be used as a slang word.
Yeah.
So yeah, it mentions like Mussolini and an awful lot of like other dictators, but at the time, whenever sourcing, just probably didn't realize that was Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice's way of maybe putting a mirror up against the Perons to show that they were in and amongst, and they were a bit of dictators.
Because I actually think the musical, maybe because they didn't have time within the musical to go into it all, but you don't see the ruthlessness of him.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I know because it's called Evita, and you know, the focus is on, but I don't think from the musical you get just how brutal and horrific he was.
Yeah, though I feel like in the movie,
yes, yeah, you do.
Jonathan Pryce was able to do that.
Yeah.
So you did. It was almost done like behind closed doors.
Yeah.
A bit like from where it happened. You know, you weren't too sure, but you knew something was going on there. And it was maybe something you didn't want to, you really didn't want to know what was going on. I suppose we've slagged off Eva an awful lot, but I did want to mention, especially because we had International Women's Day this week.
That was well timed, wasn't it?
She was instrumental in passing a law that actually gave women the right to vote in Argentina in 1947. Like in 1947, before women were allowed to vote in Argentina. Come on.
Yeah, crazy.
Come on. But anyway. So do you remember in last episode? Take it that's all your musical there, Colinkus?
It is, yeah.
So last episode, I kind of looked at you a little bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I mean, you look at me weird often, to be fair.
But I thought that you were in my head, and I was like, "Oh,
I'm always in your head."
Yes. So obviously, I spoke at the beginning about how this musical frightens me a little bit.
Gives you the creeps.
But I'm about to make a revelation. See, if Aaron had to play one role in musical theatre, I think he would make a really good Shay.
Oh, I thought you were about to say make a really good Eva Peron. I was like, come on, folks.
Che Guevara?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's him.
Can you see it?
100%.
So, I'm like, part of me also wants to put on a production. I know, I really took him.
Solely for the purpose that I can play Che Guevara.
But do you not think that he would have, do you know, like, he would like look at you the way Shay does? Did you see
he looks at us often.
With communist intent.
Yeah. I thought Ricky Martin's performance wasn't bad.
I only that he couldn't sing it.
Well, I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was bad.
It was good casting.
Yeah.
If slightly stunt.
But yeah, I thought you were in my head whenever you mentioned about in the previous episode. I thought you knew that I was about to say that Aaron would make a really good.
That's weird because I could see that too.
I know.
Maybe was it like subconsciously in my head too.
I'll need a wig.
No.
A cigar.
He wears a cap.
Yeah.
Wear a cap.
So I think you'll be all right.
Thanks.
And you've got the beard, so it's all good.
But I think it's that, you know, the way Antonio Banderas played it. She's not coming back for you.
Wow. That was really good.
It's my standing ovation.
I think he could do that really well.
Star is gone.
High flying adored. And that leads me into, that's one of my favourite songs ever.
Is it? Oh God, that's the one I cut from the show.
Really?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing about that.
No.
I really like it. And I do like Another Suitcase in Another Hall.
You get rid of that too.
See?
Isn't that weird? That is so weird. You just mentioned it too that I'm like, I like, in the show, I like the really powerful ones. So when Ava's like giving it like rice, you know, the what's You Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
And I think it's Rainbow High that she sings. He loves you. Or
Yes.
he supports you.
Yeah.
He's one of you.
Yeah.
If not, how could he love me?
That's right.
I love it when she's screaming her face off.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's kind of tingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
good.
like, wow, sir. And it's awful if you're like watching the production and your Evita can't get to that screamy
but screamy,
in your
but
face.
not in a like
Screaming. Yeah. Like I just did, yeah.
Screaming with style.
Scream with style and
Yeah.
grace and power and something behind the scream, I suppose. Yeah, that's one of my favourite bits. I do think if the actress can get Don't Cry For Me, Argentina, right, it's a dramatic highlight for me.
See, I would cut it.
But you see, it's hard, I think, because you stand in the one place, so you have to be a proper good actress.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
I think if I've seen Madalena,
yes,
somebody
yeah,
came on a UK tour and she was outstanding because she had that powerhouse in her, but she also was a phenomenal actress and she acted the pants off that Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. Not in a hammy way. Do you know what I mean?
I think
like
that's
in a
important.
really truthful, honest. I was like, wow, like that. It was so powerful. You could have heard a pin drop in the room because it was just so powerfully done by her.
I think that's where a
Madalena
lot of people...
Alberto. Would
yes,
that be
that's
right?
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
she deserves a nod.
I think that's where a lot of people can get Evita wrong, is they feel like they need to do that. Don't cry for me,
OTT.
Argentina. Well, in fact, I think it was more of a conversation to her people. And if they rein it back, actually, the music's going to do most of it for them so that they can just perform lightly.
I think it is. I'm thinking about this before I say it out loud.
Okay.
I think it is my favourite Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Evita is your favourite Andrew Lloyd Webber? No, it isn't.
I think so.
No, it's not.
Why?
Joseph.
No. I mean, I love Joseph, but musically, I think Evita is up there with one of my favourites.
Really?
Yeah, it really is.
No, definitely not mine.
Yeah. It and Jesus Christ Superstar.
Well, you see. Yeah, Jesus Christ is definitely...
Like, don't
Joseph
get me wrong,
Jesus,
I love Joseph as a show. Like, I love it, and the music's great. Very different. Like, it's a very different feel to it. But I think there's just something about Evita that I really, really love. Like, really like. I think the music's insane.
I think music is so good it makes me feel uneasy. So that's why I just don't like it. It doesn't... I don't listen to that album and go...
That's in a like really roundabout way given a compliment there. It's so good that it's creepy and it puts you off.
Yeah, but I think no, but cause,
put that on the album cover
because they're not trying to give her a redemption story and they're not trying to make her be this put up on a pedestal and this wonderful woman. I do think they've done a really good job at going, she wasn't great.
Sure, Andrew Lloyd Webber hated her.
No, I know, but so I think so therefore I'm like, I don't like that.
Works and all sort of.
I think Stan O's also have to go to the original Elaine Page. Like, she was fabulous.
Yeah.
And Patti LuPone was also a fantastic American counterpart.
Well, my dad and my granny and gramps got to see Elaine Page in the West End. Now, I've spoken about it before, how my dad is not a musical theatre fan, but his parents were, and so the poor boy at the stage was dragged to every single performance, and he said that was the one that he really remembers, and that hairs on his arms actually stood up whenever she was singing.
Amazing. The hairs on his arms still stand up today when he sings Don't Cry For Me, Ballymena. Does it? Do the hairs on his arms stand up and he's doing that from... I could just see him at his bay window with his arms out going, Don't cry for me, Ballymena. No.
But he says it was an unbelievable
I can only imagine. So. I saw a London revival. I mean, there's no point talking about how many productions of this show there is because there's been revival after revival after revival. There was one where it was actually an Argentinian actress that was cast as
it was
Evita.
so good.
And then she did go on to Broadway to do it
Mhm.
again with Ricky Martin, as you've just said.
Yeah.
But in London, what was her
That
name?
cast album was very
It's
good.
fantastic, isn't it? What was her
Very
name?
good. I don't have it written down because, as you can tell, I've got lots of
Could
gaps.
you like look up Aaron? I think was it 2006 London revival of Evita. But I know the Shay was played by Matt Rawle.
Okay.
Who then went on to play Zorro in Zorro the musical.
How weird.
And he played Martin Guerre, and he's a fabulous actor. Like his Shay's the best Shay I've ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
He was
Have you got
stunning.
Not
That
wrong. Yeah.
you know the money keeps rolling in.
Yeah.
You know the way he goes rolling, and then he went up. He opted up for it and like held it for like ages. He was like, wowzer. That was a jaw on the moment. Jaw on the floor moment.
Wow.
Who's he want to know?
Who played Eva Perron?
Elena Roger.
Elena Roger.
She was very good.
She's class too.
Yeah.
And really authentic because that Argentinian accent, was.
Yes, I think that helped.
Was legit. It was class. Yeah.
That helped. Can I just correct? When did you say it was in the West End? Did you say it was the 80s?
No,
Are you sure?
I didn't say anything
Okay.
about the 80s.
No, it was definitely 78, wasn't it?
Are you asking me to go right back to the beginning of my notes?
I'm
All
just
these
going to double
pages.
check that you.
I said that it
Yeah.
opened
In June 1983?
No, that's Broadway.
All right.
I
sorry.
said 1978.
That's okay. That's all right. I just wanted to make sure.
Bloody
that you
trying
were-
to fact check me when your notes are all the length of a page.
Do you know what? Thank you for helping me get through that because I was actually dreading that.
Were you?
Yeah, only because it does make me feel good, but actually I enjoyed that. I felt like I learned a little bit more.
I'm
And
glad. And I know
I'm not
never
being
to
scared of
drag
it.
you to a production of
No,
Evita,
please
so
don't,
that's
because
okay.
I would cry.
That's so weird. Like, so was that the musical that you had been referring to
No.
in previous episodes?
No.
No, that's still to come.
These are going to
Yeah.
shock. They're not going to shock you.
That one
because
did shock me though. Totally
They're all-
did.
I think they all have a similar thing.
Quote.
But yeah, there's like 5. So this is definitely, so we've got 4 more to go.
Holy moly, wowzer.
That
Place
makes-
your bet. That's a good one. Right, so we have 2 social posts that we need to do.
Okay.
We need to do whose version was better, right? So that's a poll.
Okay.
And then I think we should ask our listeners to guess what your other icky musicals are.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that'll be interesting.
Because I
to see
don't
what
think
they come
any of
back.
us will guess, because I certainly didn't have a Evita up there.
No.
We're sticking with Andrew Lloyd Webber for next week, aren't we?
We are.
And we'll maybe do a wee Easter kind of special or tied in slightly with Easter.
What could we possibly do then?
I don't know.
Starlight Express.
Starlight Express.
Starlight Express, that's coming back
is.
to the West End.
I'm actually intrigued about that, and I would go and see it again.
They did ask me, but I can't roller skate, sadly.
Oh, and you're preparing for Bert.
Preparing for Bert. Yes, I am. I'm away here to do my time steps and my wings. My shuffle off to Buffaloes.
Well, I hope that you join us next week.
Bye.
Bye.